when we moved here in 1997 and felt a little bit in a different place, everyone said, find a home where you will feel comfortable. Find a home where you will feel that you can retreat and be at home, and feel that even in a foreign place, you are in your own setting. And I think it took me a year before Tina and our children also came full time to find this house, which became vacated just at the very last moment when, if I didn't find a place to live, we simply weren't going to be here. And this is actually a great house. When I came in to look at it, it was night. It was at night. It was raining. It was dark. It was in very poor condition. It was sort of derelict, you might say, and the theater was next door. And somehow, under all of that dereliction, I saw like an amazing remnant of Jerusalem from the Mandate period, from that high moment during the Mandate when Arab-style homes were built for British taste and British manner and British comfort. And I can't say it seemed all of those things, but you could see it behind everything. And as we hauled out a lot of stuff, this emerged. Really, we did nothing to the house except bring it back. We renewed it. We renewed it, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. We renewed it, and in fact felt that we had found here a little bit of the essence of that spirit of Jerusalem during Mandate time. And you know, it's sort of part of my job to bring people not just to the museum, but to bring them into a sense of life in Jerusalem. And we have found that having people at home really gives them a sense of not just what Israel is at the moment, but what the history of Israel through the 20th century was. In brief, I'll tell you, this house was built in 1926, as were a lot of houses in this neighborhood. The house was called Villa Harun al-Rashid, after the architect of the Dome of the Rock, but it was named that not because he designed it, but because it was like calling it Imperial House. An Arab family built it on spec to lease it. And they lived here for 6 years, moved to Amman, leased the house to the Mandate government, and it became the home of the commander of the RAF for Mandate Palestine, who was the highest military official of the Mandate. And it remained the official residence of the commander of the RAF until the British departed. This floor was the sort of public reception floor. Upstairs there's exactly the same layout, but without a 5.5-meter ceiling, which was the private apartment, and on the top was a service penthouse. The neighborhood of Talbiya was, as I'm sure you all know more than I, a protected neighborhood through all the Mandate period. A lot of British lived here. A lot of well-to-do Arabs and Jews lived here. Muslims and Christians lived here. It was a very integrated neighborhood. Mostly it was a protected neighborhood so that it was secure. When the British departed, this house actually sat at the edge of Talbiya, and if you go outside and look that way, you'll see barbed wire, which remains from 1948 from the protected neighborhood. When the British left, they gave the keys of this house to the Haganah, who entered the house from the garden in the back and secured the neighborhood of Talbiya from this corner, from this posting. And this house and many other houses in the neighborhood, which then were vacated, became homes for members of the first government of the state. So a guy named Zvi Berenson, who was a judge in the first High Court, who was a labor lawyer who drafted the Declaration of Independence, lived here, and actually, when we arrived, he was our landlord. Upstairs lived a man named Arazi, who was the chief of protocol of the first government, and his widow, Giselle, still lives upstairs. And in the service penthouse, Golda Meir, as Minister of Labor in the first government, lived in the service penthouse. Welcome to Jerusalem. It's a wonderful place.